Hi everyone and welcome yet again to another episode on the Unique Life Podcast with me, Yannick. I'm so excited to have this episode and just be recording this episode for you guys. I'm really trying to, stick to the streak. It's hard, but I'm really trying. And I hope you guys are okay. Disclaimer, please do mind the noise. My niece is here, the baby, so she's a noisemaker, I can just say. And I can already see the type personality that she's gonna have. She's just gonna be loud and proud about it. And I can't wait to see her grow up and be and walk in the full potential in which God has created for her. So for today's episode, how can I go and dive right into the episode if I don't ask you? I hope you guys are okay, and I hope you guys are taking it one step at a time. Like, that has become a thing. So how can I start the episode without saying that? Excuse me, guys, please do forgive me, man. Forgive me. Anyway, so for today's episode, I want to talk about something a bit different and something that probably each and every person has felt it before, have gone through the feeling of losing someone, especially via death, which is one thing that is all waiting for us, whether we like it or not. Like, the only way for us to get salvation, unless Jesus comes, is that we have to go through, or not salvation, but the only way for us to get to eternal life, rather, is for us to literally die, and that is our bodies physically dying and us going into the eternity that God has for us. So yeah, man, we're going to be talking about that today. That uncomfortable, but also, I'm going to be sharing two different stories that basically talk about the same thing. So my mentor, I like to call her my mentor, but she's also like a mother. She's a friend. She is a advisor. She is so many things. So she lost her mother on Valentine's Day, actually. Yeah, she lost her mother, and I've known her mother. Her mother was such a bundle of grace. I don't know why that came to me, but that was just who she was, man. She was such a bundle of grace, a bundle of she had so much love. She had so much correction in her as well. She was a very loving person, but also she was a person that would set you in the right track immediately. Like, immediately if she spots you, she will just be like, okay, no, not that way, this way. Just go here. So she lost her mother, and I've known her mother I met her mother in 2021 when I started my tertiary. And at first I was like, okay, she seems like a cool lady, but it was just like, okay, not thinking much of it. But as I started, always, because at first I used to stay with her a lot, like with her mother and her father. We were staying on the same, like basically the same yard. And we would always go in the kitchen maybe to go warm up our food, like the students now go warm up our food or so on and so forth. And then she would always remind me. And at that point, like, we didn't even know each other that well. But she would always remind me of how she's praying for me. She would always remind me of how she's praying for all the other students that are also studying, that are also staying in the yard. Like, she would always remind me of that she's praying. And I, at that time, because I was also very early into, fully giving my life to the Lord again and, walking in the faith again. So I really didn't think much about it. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you for praying for me. But I never, because, sometimes you think, oh, people just say they pray for you and then they never actually pray for you. But with her, she really did. Growing up, and getting to stay with her more, getting to stay with them more and more, seeing their lifestyle. I got to see that. Oh my gosh. When she said that she's praying for me, when a husband says that they are praying for me, they are really, really, really praying for me. And that was just the kind of person that Mmawe was. Mmawe was a woman of God, man. She was the embodiment of a woman of God. Like, when you see the word woman of God, Mmawe walked out what it looks like to be a woman of God, what it looks like to be a woman after God's heart. That was just who she was. She carried it with so much grace. And with her memorial service and as well as a funeral, as I said, during a memorial service, people would share, of course, about the challenges that they had. So even though she carried it so well, there was also other things that, could have derailed in a journey, but she kept being faithful. She kept being faithful to God. And one thing that, like, while I was sitting during a memorial service and everyone was just talking, and of course, they shared about how, like, Mmawe was involved in, I think there was an accident that they were, like, that was really bad. There was an accident that they were involved in. Mmawe had, like, health issues as well. She had a stroke. She had a multiple health issues, and I didn't know that it was that bad. I was just like, okay, maybe it was just a stroke. But then there were also other things that Mmawe had. She had a leg amputated. And while literally, like, listening to, everything that these people are saying, but also getting to actually see the way in which she lived her life. Like, it is not like I was just sitting there and they were talking about someone that I didn't know for a few years, because I've probably known Mmawe for a good, maybe 22, like 2 years, 2 years, and even maybe 2 years and even a few months. That's how long I've known Mmawe for, maybe for a full year. I've seen her on a regular basis. So it's not like the people when they were talking about how, it was a fiction, because they were telling the truth and they were speaking facts. It was basically facts. But really, I was just sitting there and I was like, oh my gosh, through all of the things that Mmawe went through, all of the struggles that she went through, all of the battles that she had to fight, all of the adversities that she had to go through, she still praised the Lord with so much gladness in her heart. She had so much joy. I know. She had so much joy. And I remember when I got home at the memorial service, after the memorial service, and I was just like, Lord, I pray that, one day I want to be like Mmawe. I want to worship you the way Mmawe worshipped you. I want to praise you the way Mmawe worshipped you. And have that joy that she had. Because she had so much joy. Basically, I feel like even the definition of joy, Mmawe, she loved it out. Because she had joy. She had true joy within her heart for the Lord. She just had the joy of the Lord within her. There's the verse, the joy of the Lord is my strength. That was her. That verse was basically her life. And you know what? Losing Mmawe, like her not being there anymore, it was a thing of, oh well, like you have walked the race, you've fought the good fight. You fought the good fight, Mmawe. And of course it was sad and all that, but it was also like, oh my gosh, wow, what a woman, man. What a woman we could experience, what a woman we could walk out and be an example for us on how to worship and serve the Lord. Because really, like, while I was listening to all of this and I was just sitting there listening, I was like, oh my gosh, one day I really want to have the joy that Mmawe had. I want to have that joy that she had. That joy that she lived out. That joy that was her oxygen. I want to have that. I want to walk out my life and serve the Lord the way Mmawe served the Lord. You know? So, oh my gosh, like, and just to bring context to you guys, the reason why I'm talking about this, honestly, and speaking about death and all of this is for the first 3 months of the year, I've been to like 5 funerals. Sorry guys, I keep on being interrupted. But either way, as I said, for the first 3 months of the year, I've been to like 5 funerals already. And you know what? It's been a real year, eh? It's been a real one. This year has been a year like no other, honestly speaking. But more than anything, I've just seen like, you know what, tomorrow's not promised, man. Like, this could be the last time, or like, you know, the last episode I ever record. And tomorrow might just not be promised for me. Because each and every day we go about our afternoon, our morning, and we're like, oh my gosh, you know what? Yeah, I have this plan for tomorrow. I've set out this as money aside for savings. And these are all the plans. You know, you make so many plans. You put up so many things of being like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this for the Lord. I'm going to do that. But then we don't really know whether tomorrow is promised to us or not. We don't really know that. And as much as that could be, you know, some people were like, no, man, you're still young and all that. But then the thing is, if in the eyes of the Lord, I have lived my life to that, you know, I've come to the end of my life. I've come to the end. And whether I'm 60, whether I'm whatever age, you know what, that is just the end of it. And of course, there's another side of it as well. And that is, if I live my life in a way where it's going to be cut short. If I go about and I do drugs and I, you know, every weekend or every day, I'm having a beer, I'm having a whatever, you know, like if I put myself in jeopardy of my life being cut short, then that is what it is, you know, like literally that is what it is. And not just to say that, how can I put it? There are honestly some people who die, and I don't think that was the Lord's will. You know what, you can look at him and be like, no man, God is not that unfair. you literally, I personally believe that no parent has to bury their child. No parent has to stand by the graveside of their child. And I pray that my mother and my dad will never have to experience that. My mom and my dad will never have to. I really pray, and I pray like they will not have to experience standing by any of their children's grave and having to bury their own child. Because I don't think that is from the Lord. I don't think that is from the Lord. And also in the same breath, I want to say that sometimes we are the people who cut our own lives short. Because there are practices and there are habits that we take on that really do cut our lives. And the Lord has destined for you to, you know, live up until this age. But then you're like, no, man, I'm going to just, you know, when I'm like looking now at these young boys, you know, I'd find a boy who is 13, 11. He's vaping. 13. The boy is vaping. Now, you can only imagine the quality of life that boy will have at the age of 20. So if we do those things, if we found ourselves in spaces where we do that kind of thing, our lives are being cut short, whether we like it or not. We are cutting our own lives short. And with me saying or talking about rather the fact that our lives are not, like, tomorrow's not promised to any of us. I want to read a verse, and that is in Psalms. Is this okay? That is in Psalms 38. Let me just open my Bible app. That is in Psalms 39. Oh, here's it. Whew. It's in Psalms 39. I'm going to read from verse 4. It says, the Lord reminded me. No, it says, Lord, remind me how brief my time on earth will be. Remind me that my days are numbered, how fleeting my life is. You have made my life no longer than the width of my hand. My entire lifetime is just a moment to you. At best, each of us is but a breath. We are merely moving shadows, and all our busy rushing ends in nothing. We heap up wealth, not knowing who will spend it. And so, Lord, where do I put my hope? My only hope is in you. Rescue me from my rebellion. Do not let fools mock me. I am silent before you. I won't say a word, for my punishment is from you. But please stop striking me. I'm exhausted by the blows from your hand. When you discipline us for our sins, you consume like a moth. You consume like a moth what is precious to us. Each of us is by the breath. Lord, hear my prayer, O God. Listen to my cries for help. Don't ignore my tears, for I am your guest, a traveler passing through, as my ancestors were before me. Leave me alone so I can smile again, before I am gone and exist no more. So I'm following this, how can I put it? It's a Bible in a year, like program or schedule. I don't know what to call it. Or guide, yeah, it's a guide. So I'm following that, and each and every day it gives me a Bible verse, or basically Bible chapters, because sometimes I'll read like 5 chapters. It is 5 chapters in one day. So I'm following this thing, and in my family, like really close family, we've had an unexpected death, which really unexpected, man. You know, the last person you can think of. Very young, he was in his mid-30s. He still had his mom is still alive. So my mom got the call at like early in the morning. She got the call that he passed away. He had an asthma attack. And that day when we got the call, that was basically the psalm that I was to read. And I was just like, oh my gosh, Lord. Because really, it was the last person on my mind. You know, the dude, we know he had asthma, but, you know, we thought it was all under control. He had this thing under control. And just getting that call, it was, of course, devastating. It was devastating. It was shocking. Like, till this day, I still cannot believe it. Whenever I see someone on my socials who has a similar name to him, I'm like, oh, you know, it just makes me think of him. And this is someone who had, like, he had a zeal for life, man. He had a passion for what he was doing. He had so many plans. He had so many dreams ahead of him. You know, his life was just starting to go according to the way which he wanted to. And he got an asthma attack. And that was it. His life. No more. He's no more. And that just made me think. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like, that was a reminder for me. Despite all the other 4 funerals I went to. Because all of them were like... Yeah, all of them were... They were old. They're like 70s, 80s. But then this one... Like, this one was like, oh my gosh. No, this one cut deep, man. This one really, really, really cut deep. And, you know, I think it's also a thing of where I know like, someone who was so, you know, you could see this person's eyes light up whenever they talk about the future, whenever they talk about the things that they want to do. You know, you could literally see the work that this person is putting into the future that they want for themselves. You could literally see it. It was not just someone who just blabs out and, you know, there's nothing to show for what the person is doing, but you could literally see what this person is doing with their lives. You could see it. And his life to just be cut short like that. I think for the like entirety of the week of like funeral preparations and all that, I was just like, okay, you know what? Still in disbelief, like not really fully accepted it until the day of the funeral. Even when I saw his body in the coffin, it still did not 100% kick in of like, okay, this is what it is. Until the day, or until the minute we were at the cemetery and I saw the coffin go down. And they were throwing, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's really gone. He's really gone. All those dreams, all those plans, all the aspirations that he made, they are lying in there with him. They never came to fruition. And it made me question. It made me question myself, you know, as well as like, as I've said to you guys, with Mmawe's funeral, I've like, okay, this is the model that you lived out, and I want to be this type of person based on what you modeled out. And with him, I was like, yo, you know what, like I have so many dreams, there's so many things I want to do, there's so many things I want to accomplish, and I'm so scared because now I'm thinking of what are people gonna say, what is who and who gonna say. You know, you think about all these things that don't really matter at the end of the day, and that alone, that scene and that and that feeling in itself was just like, wow, I cannot let my life go to waste. I cannot, you know what, like for the sake or in memory of him, I have to live up to my full potential. As a tribute to him, I have to live up to my full potential. I have to go out and I have to make sure that I make the best of each and every day of my life. Of each and every day of my life, I need to make sure that I go hard at it, because I know that if he was here, that is what he would be doing. I know that is what he would be doing, but he's not here. And me paying tribute to him is being like, you know what? I'm just going to make the best of this. I'm going to make the best of this day of my life, the future and the days that the Lord has given me, the years that the Lord has given and added upon my life. I'm just going to make the best of it. And I'm going to live my life to the full potential. That is the promise, that is the vow that I had to make to myself, because I was like, that scared me, man. Truly, like honestly, it scared me at how you can be here the next, literally, you are here the next day, and it's like me and you know, you do the night routine or whatever you do before you go to bed, and then the next morning you're gone. Just like that, you're gone. There's no more breath inside of you. Your lungs, there's no more breath inside of your lungs. It's just, you're gone. All those things, so it will never come to pass. All the dreams and all the things that you had for your life will never come to pass again. So I guess today's episode is that may we remember how short our life is. May we remember how brief and how short our life is, that we are merely but travelers, that we are just traveling through this earth, and that our life, like, it's not even the worth of a hand. It's not even. That we would just be cautious, and that we would just constantly be aware of that, because I feel like if we do become aware of it, then we would not live our lives the way we do. We would not take it so. We won't take our lives for granted. We won't take this day. We won't take the minute that we have for granted, but we will go about it at full. We would live it out to the very full, because we know that this is all that I have. This is all that I have. This is all that the Lord has given me for this day. And you would go about it full force. So yeah, man. In tribute of Owen, I pray that also you guys would be able to go about your lives and love it to the full. That may this episode actually, wake you up. To be like, wake up. Please just wake up. There's so much potential you have. What if tomorrow is not promised? What if tomorrow is not promised? So yeah, guys, maybe just think on that. Maybe ponder and meditate on Psalms 38. Maybe ponder upon that psalm. That it may really just sink in. That we would really just sit in it. And let the Lord minister towards us. Let the Lord speak to us regarding that. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. And I'm glad that I'm actually recording this episode so, not so close to the time, because, oh my gosh, I would be sobbing right now. But the Lord has really been dealing with me, healing my heart. But yeah, I pray that I ask actually that you guys would have these families in your prayer as they are trying to navigate a new life without these people around. And it can be a really trying time for them, or it is a trying time and a really hard time for them, having to look at tomorrow and at the future without these people by their sides. I love you guys, and let us go out and love this day to the full. Let us love it to the full, not letting room for any waste, but taking our day to the full. I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll talk again next week. Bye.